This is it. This is it. This is the final of Come Design With Me Season 2. You guys have been waiting a long time for this video and I'm super excited to be giving you the final of Season 2. The winner of this Come Design With Me challenge, who you guys vote for in the polling card somewhere at the top of this video, wins the whole round. Depending on how many people there are, we may have to do the polling on the description or in the comments and I can track them. Basically check the description on how to vote for these people, but we're in the final episode today. And if you don't know what Come Design With Me is, it is a branding and logo design challenge where you guys submit your logos to me and put them on this channel and you guys vote. And the person with the most votes at the end of each video wins and gets into the final. Now, the finals are now. So today means that I'm bringing all the winners from the past like 6 or 7 episodes of Season 2 and we're putting them off against each other. And you guys vote for the one that you want to win. And that person wins a $200 Amazon gift card voucher and the hand of respect from me. Like a high five, I think. Not too sure. Today we have got 9 finalists. So sit back, get some popcorn or a coffee or get Illustrator open. Make sure you're watching closely at the designers that you want to win and let's get into the first one. The first one today is from Benjamin Gray, who won in episode 2. So the first episode, he was a finalist. Here is Benjamin's logo design. So here's the full logo. Anyone who isn't caught up to speed yet, Payzeal is an online banking service. So it's kind of like PayPal, it's a competitor. And because I forgot to say it at the start of the video, I'm also going to be linking in the description the brief to the next series of Come Design With Me. So if you want to submit and take part in that, check the brief down below, click the Miller Note link, and you can be a part of the series. So Benjamin, you haven't changed your logo too much, but I remember looking at your logo design. Now Payzeal, it needs to be fun, friendly, but also professional enough for people to really grasp what a banking service is. So they need to be able to trust you. Trust is a huge game to play in the design field, and us designers are meant to represent that and replicate that across our projects. So let's go into your brainstorming. So you've got excuse the handwriting up here, that is absolutely fine. So in here you can see that you've got the brainstorming ideas. You didn't go through too many simplistic ideas here, but you did have one, which is the P, which is very similar to PayPal, with the Z in the middle, which looks like a lightning bolt, which is very good. So zeal, a lot of people have used this idea of zeal being energized, when in reality it's actually enthusiasm, like the enthusiastic nature of the company. They're enthusiastic at you using their work, and that can be transmitted or translated into energized or energy, but it's more about enthusiasm. If you haven't noticed, I'm going harder in these critiques now because we're at the end. We've got more ideas down here, so here's your simplistic ideas. So you were going on the lightning bolt aspect, which is very good, very clever. I like it a lot. You sort of moved it over here into your work, and I don't see any working out, but this is a good presentation. So let's look at the full logo. So one thing that I really dig about the full logo is that you've got the icon with the typeface. Now, the only issue that I really have with this is that the typeface seems a bit babyish. And by that, I mean all these rounded corners in here. You can see here the rounded corners on the Y, on the A, and you can see that the A here hasn't properly been vectorized as well. Regardless, this logo looks good. Now, I would definitely change the typeface that you've got. It doesn't seem professional enough. I love the icon. Maybe, as I said before, we need to stop the rounded corners because it looks kind of strange in this area. So you can see here, you've got the icon here. The colors are great. You haven't chosen just pure black, I don't think. Let me just check that. No, I stand corrected. It is pure black, basically, just above pure black. Maybe something that you could have done with the icon is keep it at a lower color or a lower brightness, like so. So it keeps the same hue and it looks a lot more together. If you put it as grey, it looks bland, but when it's lower, and even lower than this would work really well. Let's just bring that down even a bit lower by 10%. So that is 10% blue or brightness in the blue hue. You can see the difference it makes there. I like the color patterns that you've got going on here with the blue and the black. It works on black, it works on white, it works really well. Again, one thing that I would suggest is if you're doing these sharp corners here, they can't be that sharp because they're going to take someone's eye out. Basically, you've got a lot of rounded corners here in every area. So I would stop that roundness there and maybe bring the P further back in because you've rounded everything in here. All in all, I love the patterns and I love the way that you've got these business cards here. I just wish the typography was a bit different so that it was a bit of a professional font. If you want to be really professional in your work and you're trying to gain the trust of someone, the easiest way of doing that is actually by using professional typefaces, and that means using properly balanced ones. I think this typeface here has got a lot of inconsistencies in it, as I can probably show you. It is very rounded, so it doesn't make sense to use in this because when it's small, it kind of just smudges together. So I either choose a rounded or the pointy typeface. It will make it easier for people to read and it will look more professional than the pointy. But all in all, I really like it. If you liked Benjamin's work, go and press that link down below. The polls will be in a link down below, so make sure you click it and vote. The next one is from Dan at Square Eyes Media. You guys were infatuated by this, and basically we're going to just review over what he sent again. Dan actually sent over a brand identity project strategy PDF for me, so he treated this like a real client project, which is great, and the presentation is really nice. Now what I love is that you've gone through the competition like you see here. You've gone through all the attributes of the company so you know who you're working for, and this helps the client like myself understand that you know what we're talking about when we're doing this logo, so that you're fully invested into their company. You've done your homework. You also have your logo presentation. It's not loading it in full resolution because you sent it in a PDF, but if you had this printed and sent to the company, it shouldn't be a problem. So you can see this is your logo, the Pay Zeal part here, and you've gone through each part of the logo. So you've talked about the typography that you've used down here, and you've talked about the icon, so it clearly states to the client what your intentions were and why you did it, which is very good. Annotating the work that you've done is great. One thing that I love about your logo is that it's got a Z in the negative space. Everyone loves a clever logo. Another thing that I like is that you've gone for the full cycle effect, so the circle or the square looks like money in, money out. It's a very clever way of making a design work. It's got a story behind it. It shows that you've thought about this. Your typeface works really well. Your kerning is basically on point. The only thing that I would change, I think, now seeing it on a bigger screen, is the A to the P, because that is where you're going a bit wrong there, because there needs to be just a slight budge in there, and there's no fault of your own, it's just the way that it is. The full color version works just as well. It looks very trustworthy. Everyone is using rounded corners in the typography. I would like to have seen this in a less rounded type form, but it works super well. What I'm going to do for you guys to really see his work, I'm going to put the link down below in the description with his work uploaded online so you can go and look at it. So Dan, really love your work there. Guys, if you want him, go and click that link down below and vote for him. The next one is Eric Rodriguez. So here is his logo in all its glory. Again, very bubbly and rounded, which is very strange. Everyone's choosing the rounded corners. Have you noticed? This is very strange. First thing I love about this is your typography. I like the rounded corners here because you've chosen definitively that you want rounded type. I love the Z in the middle. I think it's really well balanced, this logo. I like it because it works in black and white and on color, and the fact that it's super simple. You've literally just cut a bit of the Z out, which I like. Now the only problem that I'm seeing in the icon, and I don't know if anyone else is seeing it, is if I just go ahead and duplicate this and turn this to a black, you can see that there's a bit of wobbliness going on here, and that is because you've gone ahead and done that. You've made it not sharp. So the angles here, and because of the way that it's been penciled in, or the way that you've gone ahead and rounded these parts of the Z, means that it looks kind of wobbly in the middle. That's the only one thing that I can see just there, but the icon looks great. I like the colors. Everyone's choosing blue as well, which is great. I don't mind that. Hi Will, I wanted to keep it blue. I find it more functional and less risky for that kind of business. I incorporated a professional blue with a friendly and lighter blue. I used this 2 colors because it was more readable to make it UX and UI and web design. Very clever. And it is very readable. You can see here on the dark blue that the white and the blue stand out just enough so you can read it. The typeface is Nunito black, which is nice. You've got a gradient version here. Stay away from the gradients on this one. You've got a nice flat design and I like it flat. Here is a little mock-up of the website, which is cool. So this website looks very much like PayPal, but you can tell it's got its own fingerprint. You can see that you've got the blues and everything else looks really well laid out. You've gridded it out well. The only thing that I would suggest is you see where it says start here. You can't read that. It's very hard to read. So make that a lighter blue or white with a black or blue start here. Maybe I can even do that. Oh, I can't. And it would work. You want to think about the contrast or even just lower the opacity of that image in the background. But sending this style of mock-up to the client works super well because you land yourself more jobs in giving people jobs of doing web design and stuff, which has happened to me when I've sent mock-ups of different things like websites to others. The app icon again works super well. I like it. Just make sure, I know what you've tried to do here, but make sure it's just that little bit bigger. And there we go, that fits. The app looks great in the phone. Just make sure the username and the password aren't too small. Use the space of the phone. You see down here, you want to be using that so people can see it. You can see here that this is your real version there. Thank you for the 50,000. And I think you want me to send 4,000, so not bad. Mock-ups again, the logo on the business card looks great. Stay away from the gradients, as I've said. All of these things help for clients. So you've really focused on showing me, the client, what this could be used as. You've shown that it works well on a YouTube thumbnail. You've shown that it could work on an app, on Instagram. You've shown that it works in black and white. The only thing we're missing from you is annotations. And I know you didn't have to do that for this, but if you're doing this on a real project, then it's great to show annotations and to show you're working out. And I would have loved to have seen it. I think you have sent it before because this was your revised version of this, but dude, you've done such a good job here. You've put a lot of time and effort into your work, so thank you for that. Guys, if you want to see Eric win, make sure you vote for him. Link down below. The next submission is from Kevin Placide, and I think I'm saying your name right. And here is your logo in all its glory. One thing I love about this is your choice of color and how modern it looks. I love how the typeface is all in lowercase. Very nice, very easy. One thing that I would fix though is the icon. It is not centered correctly. It is mathematically centered to the whole thing, but let's just bump it this way. That looks a bit more centered. It's kind of hard to center this one. It would take a bit of playing around, but let's shorten that. That looks more centered to me. Now, what I like about the logo again is the colors and the fact that it's got a P in there, and I'm guessing that it's to do with the transactions. It's to show movement. It's going at an angle. It's going upwards, and you've done a good job in showing that. Your kerning is tight. Just be careful for the A and the L. Let's just move that. That L needs to be just slightly to the right. It takes a bit of practice, but that's what I would do. You've got your word cloud here. You've got some of the ideas that you've got down here. This has been presented super well. And I remember looking at yours and saying, you know, using grids works. You used a lot of grids in your work, which is great. Now, this is what sells it for me, is stuff like this, where you can use a logo as a mat out of, or a mask out of the background, which is very clever because you're showing people your logo and it's revealing something behind it, which is very good. And again, guys, this is how much work Eric put into this. He's put a lot of work into the design itself and how it's made by going through and vectorizing each one of them and showing them within here. Now, this is just absolutely amazing how many concepts you've gone through, and it's really nice to see the progression that you've made to where you finally chose your logo. I like it how the iPhones don't look real, but we can see it. It looks very clean in the way that you've done it. Your app looks amazing as well, looks intuitive and fun. I wish I could hold that. If I had an app like that, it would work super well. And I love how it works in different compositions. You can see the logo icon on the left and the Paterson there works very well, very clean. And you can see how clean this is as well. This part of the design here is super clean on the starting page. So Kevin, thank you for sharing your logo. If I called you Eric in that, I do apologize. This is Kevin Placid, and make sure you go vote for him down below. Amazing work, dude. Absolutely love it. The next submission is from Miguel, and he's a very minimalist guy or girl. I'm not too sure, but here you go. So we've got Paterson in this square font here. You can see in this logo, it works when it's small, it works when it's big. Only issue is when I scale this down, there must be like something going on here with this logo. You've got your, you've got a stroke on this bad boy. Let's get that stroke off of there by just outlining the stroke, and now we can scale it down. This is a very minimalist logo. I really like the idea of this and the way that it works. Z plus this icon, which is a P, and the transfers equals the icon that you've created, which looks great. I love the typeface, obviously, because I love Gotham Black. One of my favorite typefaces in the world. But dude, your work is great. I like this one. There's not much for me to say because you haven't gone through the whole process of like, you know, show me your sketches, but there it is. It's a very functional logo. There's a few things that I might change within this, but all in all, the cleverness of this and the way that you can just compose it anywhere works super well. You could have maybe have done something with the colors or something with like adding more depth or showing some mock-ups, but the actual concept is very nice and very clean and very minimal, and I can tell that it takes true talent just to get a logo out like that. Some people may say this is too simple, but I say the simpler the better, so well done, very nice. So if you want to vote for Miguel, click that link down below. The next finalist for today is from Mike Dwayne, who won in episode 6 of season 2. Now this looks like a completely new logo to me. It looks really different in the way that you presented it. I don't remember seeing a logo like this before, so I think you've done a good job. So let's start off with the design of the logo. The composition is great. Again, I will say that the logo looks very futuristic, and I don't know how well that would do for a company like this. A company that is to do with money and banking can't have a gameristic logo, and I would call this, after thinking about it for a while before making the video, I would call this sort of like a gameristic video game logo, which doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it doesn't fit within the category of Paterson. Now what I do like about your logo is the icon, because the icon's got like an infinity symbol around there. It kind of looks like the Creative Cloud logo, but it looks good. It's got the in, the out, and the fact that there's something united in there works super well. Now the color choice of teal, I do not think was an accident. I think you talked about it somewhere, which is growth, this one here. So growth is the main purpose of the mute green. So you've called it mute green. It is easy on the eyes and perfect primary example for a financial app. It also shows stability and wealth. Now what I love that you've done there is that you've shown me why you've chosen that, and you've explained it, and you've got your corner there. This is a huge part of it. I get a lot of comments on videos where I'm sharing logo designs that I've created, and people are saying, you know, it looks really bad, and I'm just like, well, it doesn't, it works. And I'm not an artist, I'm a designer, and I have to actually tell them afterwards why it works well in the comments and why it works. And I'm not saying that I'm free from critique or anything, you know, people can critique my work just as much as I can give it, I can take it. But when it comes to selling yourself and when it comes to creating things, you need to back up your own corner sometimes. Take critique, but back up your own corner. So I like the way that you've gone ahead and you've explained, not yourself, but your decision as to why you've chosen teal. So your design process, this is the original concept, secondary, and the final choice. So let's just read the final choice. The one that I decided on is also the one that strayed farthest from the original idea. The half arrows in a diverging directions makes it a very pleasing Z for Paterson while still carrying the core meaning of the first design. And the first design was a coin with ripples of motion behind it. This design was meant to be as identifiable as possible, and something that could appear nicely on card readers, cards, and other physical products. Well done. That is really important as well. You've chosen a very simplistic idea, something that's friendly. No one likes parting with cash, or some people might like, shopping sprees. I like to buy things online too, but having the experience on watching things like your card readers, us designers can always look at these icons that we see on card readers and we're like, we could do better than that. Well, this is a perfect example. And you can see how abstract you've gone behind the design, and then you've taken that concept and you weren't literal with it. You just kept rolling with it until you found something that was functionally correct. And that's what you've created over here. You've got the app icon here, which works really well. I like it. You spelt my name wrong, but I will forgive you for that. And I do like the fact that I've got McDonald's, the App Store, R&B, and Wilma Paterson in there of me sending money. Also, the pattern is great. The color choice with the green and the blue gradient I would change straight away, but all in all, really nice concept and good idea. This next one is from Rolldown Cabarubius. I think I said your name right this time. I tried, I practiced, but it never worked. So here's your idea. I don't have your fonts because you didn't outline your font, but it's all good, don't worry. We've got a lightning bolt for, I think, Zeal or lightning plus Z, plus the transfer. These two arrows equals this. So, and then this is your simplified version here, which is very nice. What I love is that you're very cut and dry, dude. I like cut and dry. It works well. So here is your logo. Very simple. 2 squares or 2 rectangles at an angle that have been distorted with the gradient in there. It makes it look super futuristic, adding motion. Another thing that I love is that you've spent the time kerning your typeface. Now, the only thing is you need more space. So the actual tracking needs to be farther apart. So for instance, the L and the A. So this is what I keep talking about. It's very difficult, and it might be different for everyone else, but I want the L to be further away from the A. And the tracking is nice and tight, but maybe air it out a little bit because you've got a very monoline sans serif font there. So I would just try and air that out a tiny bit so people can see it when it's small. Again, with the card, I never asked for it, but you gave it there and it looks amazing. The actual card, I like it a lot. The logo works well in black and white. It looks very, very professional. Well done. The app icon with the gradient blues in there makes it really, really tempting to push on. I love app icons with really nice electro gradients when it looks sort of like a nebula. And you'll find that these app icons are hugely important now for the design industry because we're working in such a competitive market. When you're creating a logo, you're not just a logo designer, you're an app icon designer for a lot of these companies. So there's not really much I can talk about this because you haven't sent over lots, but small things say big things about people. That's something that I've been saying recently, and you've done a really good job in showing me your process in all of the ways that it needs to be shown, and I like it. Guys, if you want to vote for Rolldown, click the link down below and give him your vote. The next submission is from Samantha. So the concept again is very simple. It's these 2 arrows of transfer plus the pay plus the zeal equals this. This is your concept here. This is the continued explanation, which is great because this would not have worked. It looks like a great monogram, but it looks very vintage, right? You go over here and you've changed it all. Keep going, and then down here we've got this abstract icon here which looks great. Color exploration, so you started off with the gradient with the blues and you went, oh, might put a stroke in there, might not, and then you've gone to this purple gradient here which looks really nice. Now the logo design aspect. Now something that I did think when I saw this logo and when I was looking back at it, it looks like a horse out of a chess piece, which is very clever. I like it. Or it looks like a snake. I like the fact that it's so nice and fitting to the company, not in the way that it's like a horse or anything, but just because it works as a P. It's a very identifiable icon. Your typeface choice works well as well. I wouldn't be ashamed of that. You've sort of hidden it away from me a little bit in there. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is that when you're sending this to a client, they're just going to be as important to see the type as the icon. So what I would do is take your logo here, if I can ungroup it, and we're just going to create a composition for you to share with the client. So we'll create a couple. So this is what I would do: create one that works by itself, one that works in one composition with the type, and one that's hierarchied onto the type. like you've done down here, but scaling them down. I mean, that was just me quickly going through them, but that's what I would do. Here's the app here. You've got the pattern in the background. Everyone looked at the patterns and they were saying, yes, we need to do patterns for these. So it's good to see that you made a pattern out of this. We've got the type, the alumni STD. Come on. Let's not do that. That's naughty. Your app icon looks really good with the drop shadow in the background. I like the gradient that you've chosen there. It's nice electro purple gradient, and I just like it. Well done. Guys, if you want to vote for Samantha, click that link down below and set your vote for her. And finally, we have a Yessir, the one and only Yessir. So Yessir has sent over his work and he's made some changes to it. Some really bright colors. I think you've gone ahead and made too many gradients. I'm not too sure if you're joking with this, but there are way too many gradients on this dude. One gradient would be just enough, but I can't not say that it doesn't stand out because this really does stand out. So maybe on a functional aspect, you've done a good job. Now, all joking aside, I think your logo works well because you've got the P and the Z in there, and it's really functionally good. When you're showing it to people, it does look really nice. Now, because you've all these gradients, you've sort of taken the design away from me a little bit because you're just shrouding me with color. There's just too much. Now, on the other hand, your card looks amazing. If my card was gradiented like that, I would be laughing. That's awesome. But as the whole thing, stuff like this, I don't mind it because you've got the clean color here of just Paziel. You should choose a better typeface than that. I know it fits, but it's just italicized and it looks a bit boring. You want to have something that makes a statement. So I can definitely see that this is going to be like a changer, but when you're here looking at all these different logos for, you know, MasterCard, Shopify, PayPal, Skrill, eBay, Mastro, you've got all these different ones. You can't see Paziel there. My eyes just don't want to look at it because there's too much going on there. You want it to be as simple, and as you can see with all these different other company logos, there's 1 to 2 colors in there aside from eBay where they've made a consistent choice to keep the 3 color combination or the 4 color combination even. So dude, I absolutely love your logo and I think it works really well as a concept, like we can see here how you've gridded it and everything else. But again, the same applies. What I would do is take that icon that you've made, which you've spent a lot of time in it and it works super well. Get those gradients out. Just choose one flat gradient in there. In fact, I'm just going to take that gradient out and show you. This right here would look a lot better just because of the lack of like confusing nature of the gradient. But again, the app icon, I give you massive kudos for that. So guys, if you want Yessir to win this Come Design With Me competition, click that link down below and vote for him. So those are the submissions for Come Design With Me Season 2. So what do you do now? Well, right now what you can do is click a link down below after watching the rest of this video, and that will take you to a polling page where you can actually vote for the person you want to win. I don't choose the winner, it's all down to you. After a few days when the votes have been counted and everything has stopped on the polling, I'll take the poll and then I will go ahead and send them a $200 or 200 equivalent Amazon gift card voucher. Now, if you're someone who wants to take part in Come Design With Me Season 3, there is a link down below, and I would invite anyone, whether you're a student, someone who's new, a designer in a firm, in-house designer, freelancer who just wants to have a bit of fun, to send in your work in these submissions. I haven't decided yet what the brief is, but as soon as you see this video, the brief will be set for you so you can have a look at it. Make sure you put your email in there so I can get in contact with you, and make sure to follow the rules. We'll have a lot of rules this time coming for Season 3, and the stakes are going to be even higher, so make sure you click that link. Did you know generosity has been proven to make you a happier person? So if you feel generous today, please press that red subscribe button down below. If you liked this video, press the like button. If you didn't like the video, then press the dislike button twice. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Get other people to vote for you by sharing it online with your friends and family. And I'll catch you guys in the next video and in the next season of Come Design With Me. Adios. Goodbye.